What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Peak Performance Hacks. I'm Max Bergstrom, and I've got he's Batman, I'm Robin. His name is Jeff Phelan, and he's feeling great today, I'm sure. Just had the opportunity to catch up with Jeff a little bit since I've been on vacation. He's been doing his thing. But hey, it's the new year. It's 2026, and this is going to be the year of growth. And I'm really, really excited because today we have a special guest, Mr. Justin Benton. Justin is a 2 Comma Club award winner, seasoned marketer, and someone who's been deep in the funnel and automation world for a long time, long before AI became the buzzword it is today. And we're going to dive a little bit into Justin's origin story, how he earned his first 2 Comma Club award, what he's learned scaling with AI-powered funnels, and most importantly, we're going to ride his coattails all the way up top to success until we're all, million cajillionaires. Right, Jeff?
Let's go.
Woo! Justin, welcome to the show, man. How are you?
Hey, man. Thanks for having me. I'm super excited. I do love, the beginning of the new year, and now it's 2026. It's just like it's a fresh start. It's a clean start. Like as serial entrepreneurs, and no, that doesn't mean I just eat protein cereal every morning for breakfast, which I just saw Russell has a new one, which is that it is it's called Man Cereal. It's got white lettering with a black up top. It says Man Cereal, and it's protein cereal with creatine. So it's pretty funny that they have that out there now. But as serial entrepreneurs, it's lovely to get a fresh new start, beginning of the year. So many exciting things. I actually have a really cool project coming out too that we can get into a little bit more, that we actually are mapping out 2026. And if you know, like Russell Brunson's a partner of mine, that's the company we have together, Secrets of Success. And we are, it's if you go into his office, there's a huge calendar on his wall. It's like, I don't know, 8 feet wide. And in that calendar, he maps out every event for the year that he's going to do. He's got family events. He's got business events. Everything is mapped out the entire year. So I'm doing that. It's called Vision 2026. And we can get into a little bit about that, but super excited to be here. Super happy to serve and give any insights I can help to make sure all of your audience gets their 2026 started off fast and right.
Yeah, that's so amazing. And you're the myth, the man, the legend, Justin. You have inspired me so much with your work, and Russell as well. He's been a huge influence in my life. And I'd like to kind of just ask a few questions to really, hear what it was like for you, before the funnels, before scaling. Like who were you when all of this started? Like what was life actually like in that season for you?
Well, I mean, I don't know how far back we want to go, but, for me, I've had a couple of different seasons of life, professionally speaking. I went to a really good school, and I got a degree from, I guess it's good because I spent a lot, I think. So the school was called Creighton University. I graduated in 99. And I did what I was supposed to do, right? I got the good degree. I went out to the real world, and I got the big job. I think they paid me around 50 grand a year. And I was like, back in 99, that meant more. But, and I was just like, hey, I'm doing my thing. And wouldn't you know, it wasn't my thing. After about a year or so, I got a meeting to say, they basically like do your year-end review, and they give you a raise, and the raise was like, I think 3 or 4%. And I was like, dude, this ain't going to work for me. Right. There wasn't enough of a growth. There wasn't enough of an upshot. And I had been in sales my whole life. I grew up in Omaha, Nebraska, and my first job was telemarketing. And if you're old like me, we used to have these things called phones, where you had a landline, and the length of the call decided how much the phone call cost. And so my first job was selling long distance service to people all over the world, all over the country, really, I should say. So I was making a lot of money in sales as a 16-year-old driving my bitchin' Camaro. And, and when I got into the real world, and I noticed that there wasn't there wasn't a lot of upside, I was like, this ain't for me. And so I immediately dove into the entrepreneurial world. And the family business was in commercial real estate, so I dove into that. And that's when my journey got started. And I mean, it's not a long enough show to go all the way down the journey, but let's just say, let's fast forward to 2020. And when in 2020 hit, that's when obviously, COVID changed the world. And at that time I had, multiple offices, and I was in expansion mode. I was in the health industry. And when COVID hit, like, everything stopped, as we all remember. And that's when, I mean, I knew Amazon was going to take over the world. It just, that accelerated it. The average American shopped online primarily. Like, the first thing they did was 17%. And so after that, COVID hit, that number quadrupled. So I knew that you had to figure out the online game. And that's, fortunately, I was in Tony Robbins' world. And Tony had introduced me to Russell Brunson. And so when COVID hit, I was like, hey.
That's how I met Russell also.
Exactly. And so it was through when they did mastermind.com together, when Russell was sitting in between Tony and Dean. And here's this little fresh-faced, 12-year-old looking kid, and he's talking about serving the people that they were called to serve. And it just resonated so much with me. And then he had a couple little hook story offer program teaching inside of the mastermindprogram.com, which Russell bought Tone and Deanie the URL for $600K. What a pal. And they gave him he was a partner in that. And anyway, so that was my introduction to him. And that was right before COVID, if memory serves right. So when COVID hit, I was like, okay, we got to go all in. And so that's when the next FHL Funnel Hacking Live, Russell opened up, I believe it was October 2021, he opened up Inner Circle. And so I was like, if you're going to swim, get wet, dive in the deep end, get your hair wet. And so I went all in. I joined the Inner Circle right away. I was so amazed by the teachings and the relentless pursuit of information that Russell was after. If you read his books, the book that changed my life that he wrote was Traffic Secrets, because I needed to figure out how to get traffic in the online world, because I couldn't do it in the physical world anymore. Amazon, Uber Eats, grocery deliveries, your grandma's getting now. That world became what it is when COVID hit. And so when I read Traffic Secrets, I mean, like I said, I went to a really good school, got a really good business degree, and I hadn't learned of any of that, the value ladder and the reverse value ladder and the tripwire funnels and all of those things. I just remember I was riding my bike to the gym, and I was just like listening to it on Audible. And I was just like, dude, you got to be kidding me. It was like drinking through a fire hose, but also it was like Christmas morning every morning. You're just like, I can't believe this stuff. And it's because Russell put so much time, energy, money, travel, speaking, masterminds. He invested so much, and he was able to take those complex, strategies that he understood, and he would be able to melt them down to a real simple 3-step, 5-step framework that anybody could follow. And so anyways, when I joined the Inner Circle, I was all in. I was just like, my man, I'll do whatever I can do to help serve you, serve the community, serve everybody in the Inner Circle. That's where I made all my friends, and Richmond Din and Eileen Wilder, Christine Morel, Myron Golden, all of the OGs and some of the new Gs, if you will. And I just became real friends by genuinely serving, helping. The first time I met Myron, I put out a golf tournament for him. So I raised a bunch of money for his favorite charity. And, I could go on and on and on. And all I did was over deliver, like Russell talks about. Serve, 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 serve. And that was 5 years ago. And now I'm partners with Russell. I'm partners with Eileen. I'm partners on a lot of the big names, Richmond Din, companies and people that because I chose the community that I wanted to be a part of. I went all in. I didn't let my mindset stop me. I didn't let the number in the checking account stop me. I decided that this was what I needed to do. And once you know what you need to do, then it's on you to do it. I did it. And the rest is history, as they say.
Dude, I think this is sticking out of my mind because I had a similar experience. But when I was 19, I was a telemarketer too. That was like, after I like moved out of the house, I was doing that. And I mean, it was, back then I was an alcoholic and drug addict. And so, it was a place where if you could read, you could get hired, and it was all convicts because you don't touch money. But I was doing like asking for donations for like the Police Officers Alliance and stuff like that. But let me tell you, I think everybody who wants to be in business or in sales or in marketing should do a stint as a telemarketer, because that is like, cold calling people and asking for, that's like where the real training comes in, like your rejection switch, right? Because you get screamed at all day long. Does your mother know what you do? Don't ever call me again. F you. Like, I mean, there's some serious stuff that goes on there. So I feel like that just like put my rejection, it just built this rejection muscle that I had. Was that your experience as well, minus all the convict stuff? Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it gave you thick skin. My first sales job that I can remember was Cutco, and so that's door to door.
Dude, that's even oof.
Yeah, it's a little bit more gut wrenching, if you will, and that was a great way to cut my teeth. But the thing is, for me, another job I think would be great for people. And telemarketing I loved, and I made more money than anybody. These old guys that have been around. I mean, I was living the dream as a 16-year-old, and they had to like rewrite commission structures. But another job I would say that would help people is like be a waiter, and understand like, the service industry and the upsells and the tipping and I think that's a great job that everyone should do. I was a waiter only once in my summer when I was in college. I think it was 97 at the Olive Garden of all places. And I had a lot of fun, let me tell you, in my early 20s with some buddies working there. But you really understand like how to like talk to people and, be attentive and deal with, problems and multitask and things like that. So one of the things that's interesting for me is like I've hired over 1,000 salespeople in my life. And it just is what it is. These are my beliefs. I don't like to hire someone straight out of college because you don't have if you're in college and you did have some jobs on your resume, great. Because if all you've been doing is living in academic world and reading out of books and thinking that the world owes you something or that this is the way the world should be, just like I did, I got the job. And then remember, it took me a year to realize, okay, I had a couple of managers. I had dealt with some politics stuff. I got a crappy raise. And then I was like, okay, so this ain't for me. And so the same thing's true is like, I want to make sure someone's actually got some real life experience so they can understand what a crappy boss is. They can understand what like to work laid out, not get a raise. So they've got some of that tangible experience. And even some programs, if you want to go back and get your master's, they won't take you directly from undergrad to your master's program because even they want you to have some seasoned experience of application because academic world and entrepreneurial or corporate world are completely separate worlds.
They are, and I love that point too. And what I always say is, people confuse the menu for the meal. You know what I mean? Like you can read a book on something, but then when you actually have to do it, it's a completely different experience. And so, yes, you absolutely want to make sure that you have experience, a real world experience. And that's a lot of salespeople that you've hired. You must have a really a keen eye for that by now, huh? Since you've done it so much.
Yeah, I mean, look, all of us are salespeople. Since you were 4 years old, screaming and crying and kicking and yelling to get your Snickers bar at the checkout at grocery store, or how you got your spouse, all of those things are persuasion and influence. So we're all salespeople one way or the other. But yes, I've hired quite a few over the years, and I still do. I mean, I have a company called Convert High Ticket, and that's how I work with a lot of the names that I dropped. Is that we help people who are selling high ticket offers, premium offers, affluent offers, 10K, 25K, 100K. We help them convert those folks because a lot of what we talk about and what Russell teaches is amazing, right? But it's a lot because think of it, Russell is a one-to-many introvert, right? Obviously, I'm a one-to-one extrovert. And so Russell teaches you how to make $1 million from your laptop. And he has had experience with a sales floor and a sales team and his info business in his early days. And he didn't really like it. He didn't really like managing salespeople and all those kinds of things. And so Russell teaches you the beautiful front end, how to make money online. And then I come in on the back end and say, well, let's let's make sure we follow up with these people, because the fortune truly is in the follow-up, and you need to not be afraid of the phones. And you, of course, you can use automation and email sequences, and there's voicemail drops and texts and voice AI, and there's so much more now. But the average touch point before someone says yes is 17 touch points. So if you and if the average number of events that someone's going to sign up for your high ticket offer, which a high ticket offer starts at 5K bare minimum, is 2.5 events. So you got to have 2.5 events on the front end and 17 touch points minimum on the back end to convert a high ticket. So if you're only doing the front, okay, you're going to get the people at 2.5 in the front. But I've seen sales double on the back when you follow up with them. And then, you can talk about these things we talked about earlier, is like a value ladder. When you're following up, not just with emails, but also with texts and voice AI and with voicemail drops and with telephone calls and Zoom calls and events and everything that you possibly can, you're blending the new technology with the old school things that work. That's when you're really getting that leverage for your business to scale.
Yeah, 100%. One of the things that I wanted to go back to was you had mentioned like the experience when you first discovered Russell, feeling like Christmas morning every day and drinking like a fire hose. And that's really resonates with me as well. And when I found out about funnels, I was working for a Fortune top 35 corporation, had a sales territory, and I was in outside sales at the time. And I wanted to get back to when I excelled in my career, where I actually became the #1 overall sales rep in a call center in the Northeast, like 120 reps, and got really good at taking calls and just going through the process. I was like trained by McKinsey and Company, and I was so excited about the idea of being able to attract people to me and to no longer have to door knock and no longer have to cold call, and wanted to just ask you, like, what are some of the memories or things like you can remember early on, when it really just started to click for you? Like what attracted you most about funnels?
Like I said, for me, it was making the transition from physical world. So going to expos and, seminars and conventions and belly to belly sales. So one-to-one, face-to-face sales. And then knowing that the world shifted to online, and I saw it coming, and I was like, but remember, COVID is what sped it up. I mean, this whole online digital world opened up to me in 2020. I mean, that was it. I mean, I thought Facebook was just for friends from high school that you didn't really care about what they were having for dinner. I gave up on it. Facebook, Instagram, none of it meant any sense to me. I was like, nope, I don't see the value in actually doing that. And so when I was able to know that when COVID hit, I was like, okay, it is over. We need to make sure that we switch to online. That's when I found Russell. That's when I found the books. As you can tell, as a phone guy, still got the phones ringing in the background, baby. And so, the main thing that I'm getting to is that we went from the physical world to the virtual world. And that's when I met Russell and started reading his books, and he's the GOAT. And if you want the frameworks, there is absolutely nobody better in the world than Russell to start with. And my advice to everybody is, when you're choosing your mentor, to make sure that that's when you do your research now. Find the mentor of this person that has done the thing that you want to do, right? Check. Number 2, find a person that has done the thing that you want to do, but has also helped hundreds, if not thousands of other people do it. Check. Third thing is, make sure you find the person that has done the thing that you want to do, helped hundreds, if not thousands of people do the exact same thing, and you're aligned with their values. Now, once you find that person, that's when you go all in, like I did. I knew I needed to go online. I knew I needed to go virtual. I knew that's what I had to do, because that's where the world was going. And so I went there, I did my research. I joined other masterminds, but everything was pointing at Russell. So then I did my research with Russell. I did FHL. I saw that he was a family man, a man of God, high integrity. Everybody loved him. No one had anything bad to say with him. So then I said, okay, I'm all in. And I did what I preach. I did a reverse value ladder. I took Russell's most expensive offer and bought it first, right? I mean, I guess I had bought his books, but I went right to the top because I wanted speed and access as fast as I could. And it didn't matter if I had the money. I always tell people about, we've heard about this before, but there's two examples. One, if your loved one has a life-threatening diagnosis and there's only a experimental treatment that insurance won't cover, and it's $50,000 and you don't have it in your checking account, would you come up with the money? Of course you would.
No question.
Because you want to save your loved one's life. Why? Why do you come up with it? There's one word. It's called certainty. You are certain that your friend, your loved one will pass away if you don't come up with the money. So you will do whatever it takes. Also, if someone drives down the street in a $500,000 Spider Ferrari, and it's the ex-wife who's divorcing her husband, and she's selling it for $5,000 just to piss him off, will you come up with $5,000 to buy that $500,000 Ferrari? Yes,
No
you will.
question.
Because you can turn around and sell it for $250,000 the next day. Why do you come up with the $5,000? Why do you come up with the $50,000? Because you have certainty. And my advice is to have certainty in your life, in yourself, in your business, in your mentor. You want to go somewhere fast, find someone that's done it. Find someone that's helped others do it. Find someone that aligns with your values and go all in. How great is it that we have coaches and mentors like Russell, like Eileen, like Myron, right? That they're teaching us what they did. They're opening up their playbook. I don't see Jeff Bezos' course. Do you? Where's Warren Buffett's? Right? I don't see Elon Musk's course. They're not teaching their secrets, but we have people out there that are called to serve that will teach their secrets for you for a price. And here's the thing. I've gone through some business ownerships and some partnerships, and they have highs and lows. But with partnerships, you got to split the equity 50-50 or 33-33 if there's three of you. These incredible mentors are only asking for a one-time payment. Maybe it's $50K, maybe it's $100K. And then you get to keep all the profits. If you are certain in yourself, certain in what you do, and certain in what they do and who they are. And if you don't have the certainty in yourself or what you do, sometimes that's the hard road to hoe. And you got to figure out number one, and that can take a lot of prayer, that can take a lot of meditation, that can take a lot of long walks on the beach. It reminds me of is it James Clear, I think, Atomic Habits, or who was the 4-Hour Work Week? Tim Cook. That's Apple's guy.
Tim,
anyway,
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
4-Hour Work Week, right? And so they were asking him, like, how did you do this? How did you have this incredible, life and lifestyle, and you've made it, and all these kinds of things? And they were like, can you just give us the secret? And can we like follow you around for a couple of days just to see how you like have these incredible, breakthroughs? And he goes, you know what? Tim Ferriss. Yeah. It would be the most boring thing ever, because what I do is I wake up in the morning and I have a cup of coffee. I read the newspaper. I do a little yoga, stretching, light exercise. And then I go for a walk on the beach. And then I go and I have, lunch with my friends. And then I come home and I journal. And then I have dinner with my family, and I go to bed and I do it all over again. And the entire time, what I'm thinking about is, what's the one big domino? What's the one thing I can do in my life that knocks over all the other dominoes in my life? And that might take 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 6 months, doesn't matter. I have to find the thing that is going to move the needle for me in my business and in my life. And when he does, he goes all in. So again, it's up to us to figure out, what is the big domino for your life? Is it partnering with Russell Brunson? Okay, that was mine. That's what I did. All right. What's the big domino for you? Figure out what that is. And once you figure it out, go all in. Earn your way in by over-delivering and serving. Buy your way in by having the same certainty you would to buy that $5,000, $500K Ferrari.
So in my assessment, it was like joining the program, like gave you the big mindset shift that allowed you to like break through to the next level and get yourself around proximity to people that had already paved the path. One question I have for you is, what about the people who see this, but like maybe it's a construction owner and he's stuck at like 100,000 a year and he doesn't know about funnels, and like what would you say about somebody like that? Maybe they're stuck in just their perspective of the world, but they see this podcast and their mind is blown. Like, what would you say to someone like that?
Trust your heart. I think I learned that one from Tony Robbins as well. It's like, if you don't know what to do, go to a quiet room, go to a dark room by yourself. There's no one around, and put your hand on your heart and ask your heart, What should I do? Is this the move for me? Obviously, I'm a visionary. I'm a person that sees the future. I knew when COVID hit that funnels and online was the world. I didn't know what a funnel was back then, honestly, but I knew it was online was the world. And so that we were all going to be into that what we are right now.
Hmm.
And so for the construction worker or the person like that, I mean, look, here's the thing. We're not saviors. I'm not a savior. You're not a savior. The Coast Guard says, you know, when they go out to rescue a ship that's overturned in the sea, and there's 17 people that are swimming for their lives because a ship overturned in rough waters, and the helicopter can only hold 6 people. Who are the 6 people that they save? They
Hmm.
save the 6 that are swimming towards them. So my job is not to save the person who's in a construction worker who's thinking about, you know, who isn't thinking about this. My job is the construction worker who hears this and says, this sounds interesting. This sounds like what I need to be doing. I've been trying to figure out how to sell online. This is different. So when that person reaches out to me or to you and says, I want your help, I am an empty cup, pour into me. Those are the
Hmm.
people that I will give my knowledge to and help. I mean, and that's the thing. Look at Russell. Russell, one of the great things that he did as well is he reached out to all the multimillionaires and the billionaires, and he tried to interview them. He just wanted to understand their insights. And a lot of times, this was old school. What we did back in the old days was you would just like try to interview one for a school newspaper. This was before podcasts, and you try to pick their brain to get some of those insights. And so if that's what you want, then go get it. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
obviously you guys know this world, and you can help people. And if there's anything I can do to help anybody, I'm always willing and able to do so.
Love that. We're huge, Max and I, about serving others as well, to the highest level, and that's, that's what I've been preaching to my team for the last like 2.5, 3 years. Is like, we're laser focused on leveling up the results for our clients, and we're going to do whatever it takes to break through. Yes, we have challenges. Yes, we, have really, really hard days, and then on the flip side, we have amazing days where it's like the top of a roller coaster, right? Um, so anyways, I know you're a super expert when it comes to AI and automations. And so I kind of wanted to pivot a little bit and ask you, you know, just a little bit about what your thoughts are in terms of where technology is going. And I know you've talked a lot about that on your podcast. And, when it comes to funnels and how in the next few years things are beginning to transform, like what are your thoughts on where we're headed?
Well, I mean, it's all AI, right? I mean, who we kidding? It's not even. It's just a matter of how fast is AI double and triple in what it does. So getting aligned with AI, I think, is the most important thing. Whether you're creating your own AI, you're staying up to speed on AI. I know masterminds that like I'm a part of that. All we do is it's just an AI mastermind. We just talk about AI. That's it. A lot of even the inner circle calls with Russell's mastermind is half the calls on AI. So to me, it's really, it's like the person that first introduced me to Bitcoin. It was at $300, and so I was like, okay, well, this is interesting. Let's figure this out, shall we? And so this is the same type of thing. AI. This is Bitcoin at $300.
Hmm.
So figure it out. Like I don't know what else to tell you, but AI. There's a lot of upside, and I'm a very positive, optimistic person. But there is some downside, and the downside is that AI ain't stopping. It ain't going to slow down. It's going to take 5 years from now is going to be a very different workplace. And so make sure that if your job, and you can just ask ChatGPT or whatever AI you use, if your job is potentially going to be replaced by AI in the next 5 years, or even if you're like an Uber driver or a truck driver, goodbye. That's all
Hmm.
automated driving, right? So
Hmm.
make sure that you are in alignment with AI for whatever it is that you currently do or like to do. And if your job is going to be replaced by automation or AI, then either become the best person who knows how to use AI in that market. For example, I was having an Uber drive the other day, and we were talking about this. And I was just being honest with him. I was like, hey, dude, Tesla driving cars, that software, all that's coming. People are gonna buy a Tesla and be able to triple the income. That's Elon's vision. So basically, the Tesla drives at night while you sleep, right? And you just leave your car and it goes and drives people around automatically, and you get paid. So now, instead of being an Uber driver, go buy a Tesla and get triple your money on the Tesla, and it's the Uber driver. You collect the income. So again, it's always about thinking forward about how can I align with AI and automation, not being scared of it necessarily, but it's here, it's coming, it's fast, it's not slowing down, and just make sure that you are. And the other thing is, be the best person in your industry with AI. That's your new brand, whatever it is. Like if AI is replacing your industry, like copywriting, then become the go-to guy for AI copywriting. Like right now, because I know Jim Edwards, I would think of Jim Edwards. But and the other thing is, make sure that you show up on AI search. Right now, it's a land race. You gotta make sure that you're the top 3 or the top 5 people that when someone searches in chat for what you do, that you show up, and you can look at your SEO, make sure that you're using Being Webmaster Tools and all that. But these are the things you need to become. There's no more important now to become the category king or category queen in your industry when it comes to being found on chat. So that would be my thoughts on that.
Yeah, that's dude.
Direction.
No, you're hitting it right on the nose. All of my current clients are, some of them are like, well, we're more white glove. I don't want to, be affiliated with AI. And, I told them, look, man, certain things you should use AI for, certain things don't, but it's already here. The train's left the station. And, as we move ahead, you're going to lose traction. But I've spent the last, 3 years just like neck deep in any sort of AI technology, how to use it. It's the only reason that I was able to scale my business really, when I quit corporate. But yeah, I mean, getting found on chat. I mean, I barely use Google anymore. I just go to Chat GPT, and it's not as simple as optimizing your Google business profile. And like you need to create a digital ecosystem because AI can analyze billions of URLs like that. So it's not looking at Google necessarily. It's looking at like your 70th highest ranking business profile. Are you sharing to social media? Are you adding value? Are you serving? Are you posting regularly? Do you have blogs? Are you getting reviews? Are people talking about you? It's able to collect all of that information and compile it, and that's how people are going to be ranked. And so it is getting harder. And I guess the thing that I keep trying to explain is that anybody that's got a budget can run ads. So if you want to run ads, yes, absolutely. But build your organic brand, because that is becoming more and more and more important than simply, having a high budget and cranking out high converting ads, having a trusted brand. Because from the research I've done, what I can see is that AI recommends trust. That's what AI is recommending to people. Who is the best option for whatever service you're looking for.
Absolutely. And, it's not rocket science right now to get listed on chat. And the algorithm is going to change. I got a few buddies that I work with that I know that do this. They call it, what is that crazy word they use? LLM SEO, which is a mouthful. Just call it SEO AI or whatever you want. But it's not rocket science right now. And so it's just like when Google first came out, like, man, it was free money. First it was organic and there's white hat, black hat, and then they did all the updates. And then there was paid Google and paid Facebook. Remember those days? Like, oh, this is free money. What?
Yeah, dude. Gary Vee did Wine Library, man. Like he was like the first guy that was like trying to sell, he's like, people told him nobody wants to buy wine online. Are you crazy? Nobody's going to buy stuff online. And so he like was running Google ads, and he like owned wine, like he owned that keyword, and boom, it blew up. But that's the thing is people don't catch on. And then they're like, well, now I want to get in the game. And to your point, Justin, now the algorithms changed. Now everybody's trying to do it. Now it's harder to do. So it's more time, more resources, more energy. And you got to, be one of the early adopters if you can.
Yeah. I mean, just make hay when the sun's out. So I'm not sure how much longer, you're going to be able to show up on the top 3 or the top 5. But right now, if you, and again, remember, we're talking about walks on the beach to figure out the needle mover. If you're looking for traffic, which most people are, then that would be the thing for me, if that makes sense in your business. So if people look you up, instead of looking you up on Google, and they look you up, or they look up what you do on chat, are you showing up in the first 5 results? If you're not, figure it out. Now, if you don't have money, then ask chat how to do it. I'll give you the heads up that you need to be, in line with Bing Webmaster Tools and everything, because it's owned by Microsoft. But if you do have a little bit of cash, invest in it, and find some good guys, some good companies. I've got a couple names of people that can get you up there. And I mean, I've seen businesses change overnight when they got up on chat. And I mean, I've experienced it, just even some of the companies that I'm working with, because I found them on chat. So as far as you want to talk about AI and something that people, and automation, things that people can do right now, I would say show up on chat and if that resonates with you, then go all in for the next 3 months, and hit me up with your report card. And if you want to send me something nice, I like to play golf at Pebble Beach. I'll do a weekend up there.
Nice. Answer engine optimization is critical, and actually one of our peak performance hackers is very soon going to be launching this product that I truly believe is going to disrupt the whole marketing industry, or as far as in its little niche, and it optimizes for SEO, AEO, and voice search optimization. There's no other tool on the market like it. He has a patent, and I'm super excited to be able to launch that. But yeah, I mean, it's exciting and scary at the same time. I know we're probably coming down on time here. Can you tell us a little bit about your vision for 2026 and how you are laser focused on helping people and transform people's lives and help entrepreneurs?
Absolutely. Well, again, so we have an event called 2026. It certainly isn't for everybody. It's basically it's scaling through high ticket mastery and through getting into the affiliates. I was good. Getting into the affluent rooms, into these exclusive rooms where your biggest clients reside, your most valuable clients reside, your best partnerships, your influence reside. We have a yacht that we have these little parties on a couple times a month. We got one on the 25th, I believe. I think Sharon Lecter is going to be the headliner. She co-wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad, along with Outwitting the Devil, which is Russell's favorite Napoleon Hill book. And, we are going to have shadow seats. So maybe when we air this, or I can get you a link to put in the show notes. So if you want to, likely you won't be able to get on just because literally we only allow 10 people on the boat at a time. Maybe there'll be a seat, maybe there won't, but we will have shadow seats available so you can at least stream it and see what we do as we map out 2026 with high level entrepreneurs, some of the names that I mentioned before, and watch what they do. First thing they do is do what Russell does. That's my hashtag. He's got a big old calendar on his wall for the maps out his entire year. And you can look at things and it holds you accountable, and you can map out your year and make sure you're doing events like at least once a quarter, right? Or once a month. And that would be the most valuable thing I could offer for the beginning of the year is, and we might even be selling the calendars too. So maybe I can give you a link for that too. A big wall calendar, get out there, write down what you're going to do, put it all in writing. Nothing happens until you write it down. Goal setting. Another one of my favorite things as far as goal setting, like a lot of people who join Inner Circle with Russell's mastermind, they do the 2 comma club, right? So they do $1 million in sales, but then the goal is, well, how do I get to 10 million, right? How do I get to the next level? And, most people think we have to progress on a straight line. Well, it's just not true. There's a great book out there by Ben Hardy, who was at a recent event with, and he talks about 10X in your goal. 10X is better than 2X is the book. And my challenge to you would be, well, if your goal is to do $1 million in sales this year, I would challenge you to do 10. Look, and what that's going to do is it's going to minimize and get rid of all of the things that are not big needle movers. You're going to look for massive leverage. You look at like John Gray, the guy that wrote Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. What was a needle mover for him? Got on Oprah Winfrey. Same thing was 1-800-GOT-JUMP, got on Oprah Winfrey's show, right? What is the one thing? Partner with Russell Brunson. What is the one thing that is going to knock over all those other dominoes that's going to help you hit that 10x goal for your 2026? And it starts with writing it down.
Back to the yacht. Is that like a 1 day or is it like a 2-day event? Like, do we, use overnight on the?
Yeah, it's 1 day, and there's another little inside secret there. So it's a 1-day event. It's $10,000 to get on the boat, and it's a fast delivery. And then, of course, we're going to have an offer or an invitation at the end of the trip for it's significantly more than 10,000, where we help you execute on that mapped out 2026 through high ticket mastery, through getting into the rooms. Like, here's the thing, your $100,000 offer is waiting. Someone's waiting to say yes to it, and why haven't they said yes to it? One, you either haven't crafted it and made it, or two, you haven't been in the room. But when you're in the room with your ideal client, like I'm mapping out a $250,000 hunting trip, and getting people like Joe Rogan and things like that. This is for a client. And so, and then what do I need to do? Well, where is Joe Rogan? Where are those types of people, these elite hunting entrepreneurs? I know exactly where they're going to be. Now, Russell's not a hunter, but he's, in that realm. They're going to be on the White House lawn at UFC. So you got to get a ticket to be on the White House lawn for UFC. I think it's July 4th is when the event is. And it's not an easy ticket to get. You got to know somebody. You can't even just buy your way in. But when you get into that room, whether it's $25,000 or $50,000, now you're playing ball with the big boys. And now when you have that offer, you're shaking hands, doing partnerships, talking to Joe Rogan, talking to Dana White, talking to the president. You're in that room. And so these are the kinds of strategies that I have seen work for me in my life and that I help do for others.
Yeah, that's a golden nugget you just dropped right there. Pretty awesome.
Happy to do so.
Yeah. Well, it's what kind of yacht is it? I'm just curious. Is it, is this like like in the Wolf of Wall Street, like that type of yacht?
Yeah, it's an Achilles 70, so it's a 70-footer, 3-story lot. It's a yacht. It's beautiful, beautiful. It's a $5 million yacht. It's beautiful. It's out here in Southern California. So if anybody wants, we do multiple events.
That's where I'm at too.
Do you let them take a +1, or is it like one per ticket, or like do typically your clients do +1?
It depends how well I know you. So if I know you well, I'll get you a +1. If I don't know you that well, then it's $10K per seat.
Right on. Well, look, man, just I really appreciate you coming on. This has been amazing. You just dropped some great insight. Guys like Jeff and I definitely look up to guys like you, guys like Russell. These are the people that have laid a really strong foundation. And, you are service-minded, servant leadership. That's, what Jeff and I are both all about that. But, he's a religious, I'm very spiritual. We're all about, helping people and, using the skills that we have to do that. So definitely in alignment with everything that you said. Before you go, tell people, where can they find you? Where can they check out your stuff? How do they get a hold of you? What's the brand new thing that you're excited to launch this year before we close out the show here?
Well, like I said, converthighticket.com. That's where most people know me and see all the names. So you can go check me out there. Cool. If you've got a high ticket product, 5K, 10K, and you want to double your sales by doing the fortune and the follow-up, hit me up. We have a little application process for that. If you want to hit me up on the Vision 2026, just hit me up on Instagram. I'm at the Justin Benton.
Got it.
Do y'all do the whole follow-up sequences and stuff like for your clients for Convert High Ticket and everything? Like, 100%. Yeah, we should definitely talk.
We're a bolt-on. Basically, if you have a sales department, we'll upgrade it. If you don't have a sales department, we will be it. And then we add in all the sequences, all the AI, all the automation, everything that needs to be done to make sure that we're hitting those 17 touch points, make sure that all the technology is used. I mean, even something as simple as, group texting. I mean, just like for real, we all read our texts. Emails are tough. That the open rates are getting harder and harder. So text would be one, automating even simple things like with ManyChat and stuff like that with your DMs. I mean, basic stuff that we all kind of know, but if you ain't doing it, you ain't making any money from it.
Yep.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Right on.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you. And yeah, super excited for what this year holds. And I'm certain we will be seeing you again. And yeah, let your friends know, Eileen and Jackie and Harrison and Russell and Myron and all them guys, how much they're just appreciated and how impactful, you know, they are for guys like us who, you know, we're not quite there as far as, you know, where we want to be at, but they've just you know, transformed our lives, and we're so grateful for
figure out
everything.
how to serve them. That's what I did. Like, the love language for Myron is golf. Send him golf balls.
Yeah.
Hit him up in his DMs. He's still not. He's not Tony Robbins big yet, where you can't even get through to him. So figure out what his love language is. I knew that Eileen Wilder loved W. Clement Stone, so I partnered with Don Green at the Napoleon Hill Foundation, and he found a couple of cool books that were from his personal library, and I had him send her those books and some certain things that she was looking for. Russell loves Napoleon Hill books, right? So I made the partnership between him and Don Green and Napoleon Hill without him asking. So I did all of those things. I took massive action. I took the walks on the beach, and I decided what was the needle mover. You can be partners or friends with anybody if you stop. I love the book, you know, by Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. If you stop and just figure out how you can serve someone. Once you've identified the people that you want to be in your life, who you want to partner with, you want to align with, you want to run with, you can do it. Look, you know what? It took Russell 10 years for Tony to promote Expert Secrets, of Russell serving Tony, not asking for a dime, for 10 years until he asked for that first favor for Expert Secrets. Time is going to pass anyways. Get your Dream 100 list, figure out who you want to run with, who you want to partner with, and overserve like crazy. Figure out what can you send them in the mail. Hit them up in their DMs, thanking them like you wanted me to thank Myron. Go thank Myron. Every time he reads those comments, I hit him up in the DMs. We talk on the DMs. Like, just at the end of the day, when COVID hit and this digital marketing world opened up, it allowed us access like never before. Before then, Myron wasn't on. Myron had a YouTube channel for 20 years and he didn't know how to monetize it until the last 2 years. Your opportunity to align and run with whoever you want to run with is completely open to you right now. You just need to make the list and commit to it.
Amazing. Great closing message. Thanks so much for being on the show. And I'll be sure to drop all those links in the show notes in the description. You guys check out Justin and what he's doing. Some really cool stuff. And check out peakph.ai if you want to learn more about the Peak Performance Hackers, what we're doing. And hey, until then, we will see you next time, next week. Go get after it, write down your goals, and let's have a good 2026. See y'all later.
Thank you. Let's go.